Welcome to It's Time for More Injury Funding, the podcast for all who want to learn about illegal funding and its significance in personal injury, workers' compensation, civil litigation, medical malpractice, and all other types of law practice domains. I'm your host, Laura, founder and CEO of More Injury Funding. The Legal Funding Council is looked after for law, medicine, legal funding, and heart for all suffering individuals. More Injury Funding is a sponsor, member, associate, or business partner of this podcast, Georgia Trailblazer Association, Academy of Drug Accident Attorneys, Sandy Springs Bar Association, Georgia Association of Paralegals, Atlanta Legal Aid Society, State Bar of Georgia, St. Andrew, Rowan Club, and Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. In today's episode, I have a very special guest with us today, an accomplished attorney, Jennifer Gore Cuthbert, founder and CEO of Atlanta Personal Injury Law Group, Gore LLC, based in Georgia. Jennifer's law firm is a reputable personal injury firm with multiple locations throughout the metro Atlanta. Jennifer and her team specialize in representing clients injured in auto accidents, trucking crashes, slip and fall incidents, wrongful death cases, and so much more. Welcome to the Time for More Injury Funding podcast, Jen.
Hi, well, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit, how did you start your firm and how's it going?
So I started the firm about almost 11 years ago. And I started it right when I got my license. The day I got my license, I submitted my papers to start my firm. So
Same day. Wow. That's impressive.
And how's it going today? It's actually really interesting. Yesterday, Alexa on our team sent me a picture of our team during the pandemic, which was 4 years ago. Think about it, 4 years ago, we were kind of like right at the beginning dealing with the pandemic, and we had 8 people in the firm at the time, and now we have over 40. So it's been like a wild 4 years. And all, really exciting, but also growth like that comes with lots of challenges. And, the pandemic itself was, but during the pandemic, because there was a lot of opportunity as well, because businesses were closed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's really exciting the last 4 years, but also like a crazy.
Absolutely. Exponential growth in 4 years from 4 to 40. That's truly impressive.
Well, I think it was 8. So 8 to 40. I think that's 5 times growth.
So yes, if we do the math right.
Yeah. So think about where we will be in 3 more years.
Exactly. I can't wait, Jen. So Jen, your dedication and expertise have earned you numerous awards, including the AWO Client's Choice Award, the AWO Top Personal Attorney Award, the National Trial Lawyers Top 40 Under 40 Civil Plaintiff Lawyers Award, and so many others. Oh my goodness, did I miss any of them? So go ahead and list them all and tell them what they mean. These are the basic ones.
It's funny because I feel like at the point when you win the awards, it's like you didn't do it to win the award, right? I mean, the awards are like the cherry on top, and like there's great, appreciation for being recognized, but definitely you're not doing it to get the awards because, one of our bigger awards we won this year was social media. We were recognized at the National Trial Lawyers Convention in January for being, top social media as a law firm, and that was really rewarding because we've put a lot of effort into that, and we have had a big focus on getting our brand out there and trying to, build a community and bring people in through the connection through our social media. So that was really exciting.
And if I may ask, who is the mastermind behind the social media award?
Yeah, Alexa is a big part of that. She really pushed me to put myself out there further, to push the brand. We took a challenge at that time, maybe 3 years ago, like what if we could put up a video every single day? And at that time, that was kind of a radical idea because it's a lot of content, and so that was really exciting. The Inc. 5000 award is pretty exciting for us. being recognized in the community. We recently were recognized as the Chamber of Commerce as a bold business, which is a business that supports women and women leadership. So those kind of things are, I think every time we get an award, I'm like, this is so crazy. like, I don't know. I'm like, I get like weird about it sometimes. Like, we're just trying to do our thing over the year. Like, we didn't think that this would lead to an award, but it is special, and it's important to take time to kind of look at where you've come. I had a lot of goals, and some of those are coming to fruition, and it's exciting, but it's also like, okay, guys, we won that. We got to go on to the next thing. Like, we got to keep our eye on the ball here.
Absolutely. Just it's always good to stop for a second and appreciate, the faith, God, destiny, whatever you believe, and just say thank you and just continue moving on and making a difference in the world. Absolutely. So most recently, Atlanta personal injury law firm Gore LLC was recognized, as you mentioned, on the 85,000 list of fastest growing companies in the US in 2022 and also last year in 2023. Can you explain the significance of this title?
Yeah. So, the average business in the United States, whether it be a law firm or a business, is growing by maybe like 5%. So that means, if your revenue was $100,000, the next year your revenue is $105,000. It's not significant growth. We've been trying to double or triple for the last several years. And when you apply to be on the Inc. 5000, you have to submit your financials, you have to, show all of your data, and we were recognized within that group of 5,000 fastest growing companies in the United States. Beyond law firms, there's not a ton of law firms on the list, but I think why it's significant is that we've been able to scale the company and grow our business at a pretty quick rate. We can serve more people. We were looking like just the other day at some of our data from 2018 and like how many clients we were able to serve back then versus how we can help so many more people now. And we have a better legal team, and growth comes with the ability to hire better people, to get more specialized people. I wouldn't want to go back to being 8 people again. Like, that life wasn't that fun.
You love that fast pace, don't you?
I like the fast pace, but also, like, when you're a really small business, you have to ask everyone on your team to do multiple things. Like, they've got to wear multiple hats. They have to be doing this and doing this and doing this. And like the bigger we've gotten, we've been able to say, like, okay, you just focus on this. And then you're able to do more excellent work, like when you're not pulled in 1,000 directions.
Absolutely. And so how many attorneys do you have as of today, May 2nd, 2024?
Yeah, I think we have 7. And then, we have a pretty robust support team. We try to give our attorneys the support they need to be able to stay in the lane of just doing attorney level work.
Amazing. So Jenny, you are one of 4 authors of the book Tiger Tactics, CEO edition, published in 2023, last year. In brief, what is the synopsis of this book, and what is the contribution of yourself to the book?
So this book, a bunch of my colleagues were putting it together. They had already written a first edition of it, and it went really well. And it's basically the concept is they took, a variety of people, maybe there was like 8 or 9 of us, and we all kind of answered these 6 questions about, our perspective on wrongful. So one of the questions is like, what tools do you need to grow a law firm? And then everybody kind of got to give their point of view, who are the key people that you needed to hire. And everybody got to give their response. And it's really interesting because you kind of can see it from every different perspective. And a lot of us, had different experiences. And so my voice, I think, was interesting for that book because I was probably the youngest woman on the book. And so there was some, women's perspectives, some men's perspectives, some older, some younger, and kind of hearing everyone's experience, I think, was valuable in that book.
So is it available on Amazon?
Yeah.
Or is it all over?
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. And if you ever see me, I have a couple extra copies around here. So if anybody's looking to try to grow a law firm, it's good to kind of hear what other people have done.
I can't wait to read it. I'll admit I haven't yet, but that's coming. You have appeared on many new articles, including USA Today, as well as podcasts and stages, speaking about the entrepreneurial legal journey. How has this journey been for you so far, and what progress have you made in, let's say, 4 to 5 last years?
Yeah, so, what I believe is that if you're a great lawyer, that is, amazing. Like serving our clients is a part of it. But I do think great law firms, just being a great lawyer isn't enough. And I'll give an example. We were working with a medical provider, and it was a really good doctor. But what ended up happening was you can tell this doctor did not have a good business sense or good people in place. And so our client was scheduled to go to get services with this doctor, and nobody was ever calling back. There was no follow-up, there was no communication, and so the client was getting frustrated. Now, does that have anything to do with whether this physician is good? Mm-hmm. No, I mean, they could be an amazing doctor, but when you decide to open a business, there's things that have to be in place to make that business run. And communication with your patient or your client is a really important part. But, doctors don't go to school to probably learn how to run a great medical practice, just like lawyers don't. Mm-hmm. Later, we go on and find out that the doctor had all these issues going on in his building where he basically didn't have air conditioning running. And so he couldn't perform procedures or surgeries. And so you're thinking as much as being a great doctor is important, you've got to be able to run your business smoothly. Like nobody's going to want to get procedures from you if you don't have a facility that's operational and working. And I think the same thing is true with lawyers. You'll hear there's somebody who's an amazing lawyer, they're a great technician, but they never call the clients back. They don't have the right people in place to run the law firm like a well-run machine. And so the client experience ends up being really negative. And even if that lawyer gets you a great result, you were so frustrated the whole time you were a client that it diminishes the overall experience. So I really think if you're going to decide to be an owner of a law firm, you've opened your door, you've now signed up to be a business owner, and you've got to be good at sales, you've got to be good at marketing, you've got to be good at finance, you've got to be good at hiring, you've got to be good at all these skill sets that lawyers are not traditionally good at. And so you look at bar complaints, you look at things where people, fire their lawyer. It's usually coming down to some of the processes of the business. It's not usually just the legal results,
Of course. And then, so of course, like you said, attorneys are not gods. You can't know everything. So in that situation, you just hire the proper stuff, right?
You got to hire the right people. But in the beginning, if you've never done any of that, you don't even know who is great at hiring? What am I looking for? So you have to go out and educate yourself, and you as the owner of a business have to have a certain level of competence around running the company.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So in addition to your legal work, Jen, you are committed to giving back to your local community by supporting local events, sponsoring scholarships for college students, and donating to the Backpack Project, which provides backpacks and school supplies to students in need. What does it all mean to you?
Yeah, so one of my mentors introduced me to this idea of the Backpack Project, and we adopted it here in Atlanta, and it's so rewarding to meet kids that they don't have any backpack maybe for school, or they don't have school supplies. And I think building a great law firm, part of that is being a member of the community. And how can we, connect ourselves to the community in a way where people associate our firm to doing positive things for the community. So we do a scholarship for somebody who is pursuing their dream. We do backpack project. We've donated, during the holidays to a lot of different causes, and we want to be able to be a good steward of our community, and we want to pay back the community that we make, so much from.
And so what's your biggest passion on the spot? Children, old people, injured people. What, if you had to choose one, what would that be?
Probably my biggest passion, and we've had a lot of talks about this past year, was helping, women and entrepreneurs. There's a place called the Drake House here in Roswell. They help women, get out of domestic violence situations. They're an amazing organization. They help women get back on their feet and get in the workforce. For me, I think like helping women and seeing women live their dreams is really probably the greatest passion.
That's fascinating. You also coach personal injury attorneys and business owners on topics such as personal injury law, practice management, and business marketing. You currently serve as a past president of the Alumni Association at Atlanta's John Marshall Law School, where you work to reinvigorate the alumni community and support the school's mission. Tell us a little bit about this incentive.
Yeah, so the Alumni Association for John Marshall Law School in Atlanta was not in good shape. It had basically fallen apart. And so I got the call like 2 years ago, and they were saying, "Jen, will you come back and help us bring it back to life?" And a couple of us, were on the board as it was kind of reinvigorated and refounded. And I thought that was really important because when I was a law student, I always felt like seeing an alumni that's successful or having connection to that kind of gives hope. That if they could do it, I could do it. And I think that some of the other law schools and colleges had such strong alumni associations, and that kind of feeds the opportunity for law students to have scholarships. Like this summer, we're hiring 3 interns. 2 of them are law students. We've had a lot of law students come work here, whether it be just for the summer or they stay on for the year. And I think, giving somebody the exposure to an experience so they can put that on their resume is really important. And I feel like people helped me when I was in law school, and I want to, pay that forward. And also I want people to say well, Jen did this, I could do this, And then with regard to mentoring, younger attorneys or other attorneys, in fact, age doesn't really matter. I spend a lot of time with mentors. I have a ton of mentors and coaches and people that help me. And I think wherever you are, there's someone behind you that you could, coach up. And I just feel like I learned so much from the people I'm mentoring too. They are going through stuff, and sometimes people just need someone else to say, "Yeah, your idea is good," or "No, don't make that mistake. Don't make that mistake. I've made that mistake. Do not do that."
That's amazing. So, who were some of your mentors that you may want to mention?
Oh man, I've been mentored by so many amazing people. Mike Morse is one of my mentors. He owns a very successful law firm in Michigan. Daryl Isaacs has helped me. I've had so many coaches over the year, Kristen David, David Nagel. I've had, people in different facets like mindset, business, or law firm development. Amazing people over at Accelerator, Nikki and Chad. I've had amazing mentors. So, and I'm still being coached. I think the thing is, you never get to a point where you don't need a coach. We have a leadership coach, Jen Carvela, and we are able to avoid certain things because of their guidance. And so you've been one of my mentors through social media, literally.
Oh, that's right.
I follow you, in case you haven't noticed, I follow you all the time and just look up to you.
So
for me and many other people. You never know who you can impact.
Exactly. And you are also, Jen, on the board with GAWL, Georgia Association for Women Lawyers. Can you please tell us what is the purpose of GAWL and how it serves our community?
Yeah, so I'm on the Georgia Association for Women Lawyers Foundation, which is the arm of the organization which helps raise money and do charitable work for the cause of helping to rise up and improve women in the profession and, law students. We give away we do a scholarship every year. We do a grant. When I was in law school, I remember hearing about that and going, that's so cool. Like, not only if we give a scholarship to a student, are they recognized, but also it kind of is like, well, Georgia Association for Women Lawyers is kind of like, they now went back to you and endorsed you and said, like, we see something in you. And I think that's really special. I'm actually getting sworn in this weekend. It's exciting with you. You've decided to join us.
I'm so super excited.
She put me in the hat and I said, well, you want to do it? And we're kind of reinvigorating. We're in the same situation where we're reinvigorating the board again. I got off last year. And so I had to bring in some heavy hitters. I'm like, we need some people that can do some stuff, So I feel like, what is this? My life, I'm always having to reestablish boards.
That's part of your purpose.
But it's really, and I can still remember being that one student that went to the GAWL event and thinking one day we could be on the board. And then it happens. This is so crazy.
It is amazing. Absolutely. Life is fascinating. No success or growth comes without challenges. And obstacles and setbacks. And I'm sure you faced quite a few of those. Can you name some of the challenges that you encountered in your legal and your entrepreneurial career? And how did you handle or still handling these challenges?
Gosh, I will be sitting in my office and someone will walk in and resign unexpectedly. That's a fun one. I'm sure you dealt with that.
Yes.
Somebody could get sick and have to leave in a moment's notice and they're out. I've experienced having people that I thought were invested and then they just leave. People will tell me my vision is too crazy or what I want is, it's not attainable or there's so many critiques you get when you're doing something that is pushing a boundary. People will doubt me. I think I usually get super frustrated when people doubt me. I'm like, guys, if there's one thing, this place is not going down on my watch, and you feel like sometimes why don't they see it? Why don't they get where we're trying to go? And I've made all the wrong hires. I've put people in positions they weren't qualified for. I've seen, I think you, as an entrepreneur, you see the best in people. You see them at their highest potential, but that doesn't mean that's where they really are. I've had to grow my own leadership skills because if you want to become a higher level leader, you have to learn how to deal with your own issues. Your communication style, you might have to tweak it. You might have to, if you have a temper, you might have to work on that. There's things that if you don't address them, you will get stuck and you won't be able to go to the next level.
And what personally you keeps going? So what's your go-to?
What the best?
But so what, people have God, faith, a spouse, significant other, children, cat, dog, I don't know, a hobby.
You mean what keeps me going in those challenges?
Exactly. Yes.
Blind faith.
Okay.
I'm just I think when you're dealing with serious challenges, you've got to get micro focused. So you have to lower down your focus to okay, I'm in a really tough spot right now. I just got to get through this next week. And then I got to get through this next month. And then things will get easier, but you have to almost lower down and just get micro focused on like, there's 2 or 3 key things that if we solve those things, all these other problems go.
Mhm.
You know, like whether it's a hire or whether it's, you know, coming up with some kind of solution, like I just can get really focused on what do we need to do right now to get through this challenge.
Mhm.
And sometimes that means you got to double down. Like you got to get really in the trenches. You got to get into the weeds. Every time we've ever run into a challenge, we end up getting better through it. Like we come out, we hired someone better, or we figured out our process was all messed up and now we revised it. Or we see there's stuff that we weren't looking at that needed to be addressed and now it's come to full light. So I try to stay focused on like this is happening for us, not to us.
In a good way, yes. Every challenge leads to betterment, to perfection. Could you share some of your tactics, strategies, approaches, or vision points with other attorneys and entrepreneurs who are building their businesses? And tell us a little bit of, or a little bit of your best ways that you see to stay up to date with the latest developments and trends, and how to incorporate them into one's practice.
I mean, that's a broad question.
It is.
There's, I think, at different levels in business, like when you're first starting out, you know, you're going to have totally different advice than somebody who's been doing this for a while. I think people need to focus on the things that's going to move your business the most, depending on what stage you're at. Like when you just start your business, the number one thing you got to focus on is getting clients, right? Like you have to establish yourself. You have to get your name out there, and it's not really all about hiring at that point. It's just getting your message into the world, getting people that will say, yes, I want your service. And then as you get your name out there and your brand starts to take off, then it becomes like, now I've got to build systems and processes, and I've got to figure out how to get other people that work for me to do the level of work that we promised the clients. And so then the focus is really like hiring and systems and documenting your processes. And then when you get to that stage where you've got people and you've got processes and you've got lots of sales coming in, so clients coming in, how do you adjust and make sure that your service is still at the quality level from when you did it? And there you got to do a micro tweaking. Maybe the thing you were doing 5 years ago doesn't make sense anymore. Like, are we doing everything kind of at the highest level now? And then after that level, you have a lot of people working there. The next focus is how do you build leaders? Because once you have 20 people reporting to you, they need leaders, they need managers, they need people that can handle all the HR components and come up with so many different people working there. And then you've got to start building in leadership. And then, that's kind of like, you can't start there, it depends on where you are in your journey.
So how long do you think it would take on average to a personal injury firm to go through that first stage?
Depends on how good you are at sales and marketing.
So when you started as a young attorney, did you know anything about sales?
I did not, but I went to business school.
That's right. Yeah.
So, I would say, yeah, but not to where I am now. But I will tell you, I did do door-to-door sales. So I do think that was good. I think, if you're bold enough to do door-to-door sales, this is in college, I'm okay with people rejecting me over and over and over. And I think sales is that, it's just a numbers game. You gotta need enough people that need your help, and you gotta be targeting the right people. And eventually, you'll get a break. Somebody's gonna trust you and give you a chance.
Absolutely. So with leading such a busy and event-filled life, how do you prioritize work-life balance and maintain a sustainable career in this demanding legal profession, being especially personal injury attorney?
So what do you mean by the word?
So life work balance. How do you manage your home life, because you have family? I don't know if you have any pets, and you have relatively small children and husband. And so how do you manage that with with crazy travel schedule, with having so much staff, with having, how many offices right now? 6 offices?
I think we have 5.
5. That's a lot.
You know, I feel like I don't have a good answer for this because my life is very busy, but I like being, like even when I was in law school, I had 2 jobs. I worked in a law firm and I worked in law school. And when I was in college, I was a collegiate athlete. I went to school and I had a job. Like I've never really had just a thing. And so even when I started the law firm, I started it when Julia was 2 months old. So like I've always kind of just, I like to have my plate full and I like to be doing a lot of things at the same. I don't know if that's dysfunctional or crazy. I will say I have hired a lot of amazing people, and I don't think that maybe the public thinks I'm doing because I'm not doing things that are happening here at the firm. There's lots of amazing people who are handling things that I don't have to do anymore. So like I'm not doing finance, I'm not doing HR, I'm not doing director of legal operations. I'm not the managing attorney. We have a managing attorney. I'm not the marketing director. Like there's great people doing those things. So more apply is interfacing with them and setting the vision and doing the things that I need to do. It's not, I think the perception is I'm doing more than I am. And then where I can make the biggest impact is like I have a lot of great ideas and I have a lot, like things that my connections that I have, a lot of the things I bring to the business are that excitement, that spark, that vision. I challenge a lot of things. Like, what if we did it this, like that's the way my brain works. And I think bringing that is where I serve the business the best. And it does allow me a lot of time to do like all these boards that I'm on, projects that I'm working on, coaching. But I also am not like striving, to be in total balance. Like there's going to be points in your life when an opportunity comes. Think about it. Like just think of the opportunities that have been presented to you. And it's like right now, I'm going to leap on that and I'm going to be a little bit out of balance. Like I'm going to be working more, but like there's a reason to do that. Like there's a big upside to doing that. And so I think that we torture ourselves always like, I'm in balance. Like sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're going to be working a lot more. There's periods when I was working a lot less. And I try not to like judge myself or give myself such a hard time about this balance question. I do think like with my health, I'm very committed. I go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week. I have a trainer. That's a non-negotiable. I'm not going to, like, no matter how busy my life gets, I'm not going to give up the gym, period. My kids have activities, if they have a musical, if they have sports, like, I'm not going to miss, important events in their life. Like, you have your non-negotiables. But there's times when I have to say to my kids, like, hey guys, mom has to work more right now because somebody just quit. And that's just the life of an entrepreneur. Like they are children of an entrepreneur. They're going to have to understand that's what it takes sometimes to keep things going. And so I try to have conversations with my kids about, right now mom has to do this. It doesn't mean I love you any less, but there's going to be times where like I might not be able to be there at something because I've got to make this business work. And I bring them here. Julia comes to the office sometimes. And, my dad was an entrepreneur, so I think I have that point of view. My goal is as I get older that I am able to have more freedom and to, do amazing things with the kids. And, they won't always remember all the work it took to put into that to get to where you want to go. I always talk about this. I don't know if we talk about this. I'm like, if your mom was the president, one day we will have a female president. Okay. Of course. No doubt about that. But if your mom was the president, do you think she would have a balanced life? Most likely not so much. In the traditional sense, people think balances. It wouldn't be possible.
Not really.
And so, but if somebody had the opportunity to do that and that was their dream, like, why are we thinking we are people that are trying to live 1% excellent lives, but yet we're thinking we're gonna have like a normal everyday life. It's not possible. You know, if you want to do big things, there's gonna be sometimes moments of a lot of work.
Can you, Jen, share any insights or advice on building a successful personal injury law firm and thriving in the legal industry?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have lawyers that do great work. That's like the most obvious answer, but I've hired a lot of lawyers over the years, and if you don't have lawyers that really get personal injury and really know how to maximize the case values and how to take a case to court, you could have the greatest law firm in the world. It's the end of the day, we have to know how to do this work technically really well. Because at the end of the day, this is either we got the case resolved and we got a great outcome, or we didn't. There's no gray. We've got to be able to deliver on our promise.
Are you thinking maybe one day of becoming president of Georgia Trailblazer Association?
You know, I'm trying to get back involved in Georgia Trailblazer. I've been in so many other organizations, I've spent more time. I really respect and love Georgia Trailblazers because they are defending, tort reform, and they're trying to help the legislator understand the issues from a trial lawyer's perspective and protect the public. I think the work they're doing is great. If they need me, they can call me, but I don't know. I haven't been like heavily involved in terms of their leadership and stuff. So I'm sure there's someone more qualified to be the president than me.
We'll see. Let the time speak, right? Again, this was so great, Jen. Thanks so much again, and hopefully my listeners and viewers have learned as much as I did about some valuable lessons from a legal trailblazer, Jennifer Gore Cuthbert, as she provided some, like I said, some insights for personal injury practitioners. And before I let you go, I have one pop-up question. Ready, Jen?
Okay.
So, if you would start writing a book tomorrow, what it would be about and why?
I think it would be about some of the lessons I've learned as I've gotten older. I think the person that I was 25 is like only a small amount of the person I am today. Like as you get older, the exciting thing is you get to become yourself. And being a business owner, it forces you to do so much work on yourself, because if you're not working on yourself, your business won't grow. And so, I hope one day I can share some of the lessons I've learned as a woman in the space of entrepreneurship. Like there's a lot of mistakes I wish I hadn't made. And I'm sure you feel the same way. It's like getting older, you get to really know who you are and what you stand for, and you get to like be more unapologetic. And I wish I could like bottle that up and people could experience it sooner, but I don't know. I think you have to work on yourself to get there.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Again, that was an amazing time spent with you. But before we let you go, once again, how can people find you and your law firms?
Yeah, www.atlng.com, social platforms. You can follow me, Jen Gore Lawyer, on Instagram and TikTok. And my email is jennifer@atlinjurylawgroup.com.
Excellent. Again, that was Attorney Jennifer Gore Cuthbert with Atlanta Personal Injury Law Group, Gore LLC. I want to thank you all for listening and watching our story today. For more tips and tricks on legal funding and personal injury related topics, follow me, download, like, and subscribe for It's Time for More Injury Funding Podcasts on all worldwide podcast platforms. And also you can check it out on Spotify, Amazon, Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, and all others. And of course, on my website at moreinjuryfunding.com and all social media sources. I can't wait to see and listen to you and hear you, my dear viewers and listeners, soon again. Until then, be well. Thank you.
Thank you.